They say not to judge a book by its cover, but let's be honest, the only people who say that are people who don't write or publish books. You have to judge a book by its cover because what else do you have to go on? And your readers are no different. What they have to go on is what they see, and what they see is the cover of your book. If it's on Amazon, a little bitty thumbnail with the cover, or if they're in a bookstore, the book that they can pick up. If the cover ain't working, the book ain't gonna work. So in this video, I wanna give you 3 simple ways to make sure that your book covers stand out and grab the attention of your potential readers, get them to be interested enough to eventually purchase the book, which is what you want. My name's Lane. It's so awesome to have you at this channel. I talk about self-publishing, personal development, and online business. So if those are things that you're interested in and you want to grow in those areas, I want to put something free in your hands. You can go to lanesebring.com/5steps and you can pick up my free 5-step guide to writing a #1 best-selling book, which I've done. My first book, this right here, was a #1 bestseller in its category on Amazon. And in this guide, I'm going to tell you the 5 steps that I took to make that happen. So as we dig into this, I'm going to give you 3 things that I think are incredibly important to consider when you're thinking about your front cover of your book. Now, I do want to mention that what I'm talking about is nonfiction books. I'm not talking about fiction. That's a totally different thing. Your cover needs to kind of tell a story. So I'm talking about nonfiction books that teach a concept, that help the reader overcome or help the reader have an answer to a specific problem or a specific question. So you're helping the reader do something. So your book needs to communicate a lot in its cover that I think is really important. So the first step is readability. So if you notice that this cover, the title is incredibly readable, Preaching Killer Sermons, big block letters that are not difficult to read, okay? So the reason why this is so important is that people, when they're looking at your book, and where the vast majority of people are going to be looking at your book is on Amazon, as they're scrolling through, they are looking at it very, very small. They might even be looking at Amazon on their phone, and then the thumbnail, which is, like a little piece within their phone. So it's going to be very, very small. And if they're looking at it on a computer, it's still going to be small. So your title needs to be readable. It needs to be block letters. It has to work if you shrink it down. If you want to do something really artistic, but you can't read the title, it's going to work against you because even though the title is right there in the listing, people are looking at the cover. So the first thing is readability. The second thing is color, okay, or eye-catching. It needs to be eye-catching, it needs to pop. I chose this color green because this is the color of my brand, Preaching Donkey, but it's also just something that stands out. So what I wanted was when people scrolled through, I wanted it to be something that kind of reached out and grabbed them and then was also readable. So, and going back to the readable thing, if you think about this, so the big block letters are readable, but other things aren't. Like my subtitle, you would have to kind of dig into it to read it. This endorsement up here, you'd have to kind of dig into it. My name is pretty small compared to the title, but the title is the thing that I want people to see first. In this video right here, I actually explain the progression that people go through between seeing your title, then your subtitle, then your back cover copy, then opening the book up. So I would definitely check out that video because it's going to give you a lot of insight into what I'm talking about there. So again, readable title, a big, nice, colorful, like eye-catching, poppy kind of cover design. And then I like to have at least one visual feature, one visual icon. For this book, I chose a little guy standing there with a book, okay? And that's like a preacher holding a Bible. And so it's just something that is a simple way to do this. Now, I designed this cover myself, and I'm not a cover designer. So what I did is I thought, okay, I want to have my big block letters, I want to have my subtitle, I want to have some kind of icon, and then my name. And then up here, I left room for an endorsement because I was able to get a rather large name endorsement. Now, another book that I wrote follows the exact same method. Let me show it to you, 1 second. Okay, I'm back. And this is a book called Become a Preaching Ninja. You can see that I follow almost the exact same method. I've got the big block letters. It's a bright, colorful book. In this example, my visual feature is the ninja. And so it follows all of the same rules. And so if you put these 2 books together, they have a particular brand, right? You can see that this is kind of my signature. My third book will have a very similar appeal and a very similar look. So again, these are the three things that I think are important. And I think no matter how you're doing your nonfiction book, it can fit into these paradigms, because you can use big block letters. It doesn't have to be the same font. I used Railway font on these. Doesn't have to be the same font. The way you do color doesn't have to be a big, solid, bright color like I did. Your color could possibly be in your text. Maybe you do a white cover and you do really colorful letters for your text, okay? Or maybe you have a variety of colors kind of within the cover, but not just one solid color. Or maybe your icon is at the top and not the bottom. The point is, I don't get hung up in the exact design of it. I am just thinking about when someone scrolls through Amazon and they're looking and they're searching for books, in this case, books on preaching, I want my books to stand out among the other ones, and I want them to be easy to look at and go, that's interesting. I want to take a look at that. So those are the things I do. Definitely check out this playlist, which will help you with things like back cover copy, what to write on the back cover of your book, interior design, chapter titles, all that kind of stuff. Check that out there. And be sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next video.